The current fourth-generation Ford Expedition is nearing retirement, and we believe it's high time it gets a revamp or maybe a whole new generation. It's clear that Ford thinks the same, since the 2025 Ford Expedition has just been caught on camera in full camouflage glam. Here's what it looks like and when it will be available to buy. First spy photos show a beefier stance. Back in May 2023, Ford Authority news site first spotted what appeared to be a 2025 Ford Expedition prototype out testing in the real world. And that's when people started talking about a forthcoming mid-cycle refresh for Ford's full-size SUV. In the first spy photos that surfaced last year, the upcoming Expedition was heavily camouflaged in the front and rear. That is probably where the most radical changes are. Along the sides, we could see a familiar body line, while the structural shape of the C-pillar looked pretty much the same. The wheelbase, or overall dimensions of the upcoming Expedition, are hard to determine just from a few pictures, but we can guess. The images show a somewhat taller and flatter front end, and maybe a beefier overall stance, giving out some serious Range Rover-like vibes. The dense camouflage might be misleading, but we believe the 2025 Expedition will be bigger and more muscular than the current generation. The hips are a bit curvier and sexier as well. This prediction aligns with the ongoing trend among car manufacturers to bulk up their SUVs. A good example would be the latest redesign of the Honda Pilot. Redesigned headlights and liftgate. Judging by what we can peek through the heavy front camouflage, it appears the new Expedition will sport some updated C-shaped LED headlights. However, that's just an educated guess, as the housing doesn't reveal enough detail to confirm. Nevertheless, the orange marker light is clearly placed higher up than on the current generation. Moreover, by looking through the mesh section between the lights, we suspect a larger grille. In the back, we can see a redesigned liftgate that extends closer to the ground for easier loading of cargo. Moreover, the bumper revealed a built-in receiver hitch. Judging by the visible dirt underneath, the prototype car looked like it had done some serious off-road testing, although it was equipped with conventional street tires. This means Ford is expecting even the less equipped Expedition to be able to tackle dirt roads on a daily basis. We like that way of thinking, when manufacturers don't make you buy a more expensive off-road trim just so that you can safely take your car on various dirt roads around the countryside. Expected powertrains. By the looks of that camouflaged rear of the car, internal combustion power should be standard, which comes at no surprise. Although the word hybrid has been uttered by various people, the safest assumption is that the new Expedition will get the same 3.5-liter twin-turbocharged EcoBoost V6 connected to a 10-speed automatic, with rear-wheel drive as standard and all-wheel drive optional, or something very similar to that. The current version delivers 380 horsepower in base trim and 400 ponies in the limited model. A higher output version, known as the Timberline, is also available. Together with the Limited and the Stealth Performance package, that version of the Expedition gets 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. It's possible that the 2025 Expedition gains a bit more power than these. Various sources talk about the base output rising from 380 horsepower and 470 pound-feet to 400 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. Some even dream of the basic trim going all the way to the 440 horsepower delivered in the current Expedition Timberline. But if you ask us, that is highly unlikely. Ideally, Ford tries some magical engineering and tuning that can also improve the fuel economy of the Expedition model. Currently, the 2024 version gets 17 or 23 miles per gallon on the city or highway at best. But some owners complain that in real-world conditions, the fuel economy is much worse than that. That's why a hybrid version would make a lot of sense. Ford already has a successful 430 horsepower hybrid powertrain in their lineup. The newly revamped F-150 gets a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 with an electric motor that can do 23 or more miles per gallon in the city and highway driving. They could put that on the Expedition as well. Additionally, Ford might plan to launch an all-electric Expedition in a few years. Various sources indicate that the electric Expedition should be a totally separate model from its gas-powered counterpart. The two models are anticipated to coexist until the gas sibling will phase out eventually. If we think about the all-electric F-150 Lightning, a battery-powered Expedition with dual-motor all-wheel drive setup doesn't sound too far-fetched. It could get 320 miles of range depending on the specification. However, we shouldn't expect an all-electric Expedition until 2026 or 27. Ford Blue Cruise. The new Expedition will probably also get Ford's newest Blue Cruise semi-autonomous autonomous driving technology. Blue Cruise allows for hands-free driving across a vast array of roads throughout the US and Canada. Initially launched on Ford EVs and later extended to certain gas-powered models, Blue Cruise version 1.2 now includes technologies such as lane change assist, predictive speed assist, and in-lane repositioning. Lane change assist semi-automatically changes lanes on the highway with a simple turn signal tap from the driver. Predictive speed assist automatically adjusts the car's speed for curves and speed limit changes, while in-lane repositioning automatically shifts the car within its lane to provide extra space when passing large vehicles or those close to lane markers. Blue Cruise is likely to be an optional feature for the entry-level trims, while the higher-end models might have it included as standard. We should, however, expect all 2025 Expedition models to be outfitted with essential driver assist features, including automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assistance, and adaptive cruise control, ensuring a safer and more comfortable driving experience. Exclusive interior details revealed. Last month, newly surfaced camouflage pictures revealed a serious interior revamp for the upcoming 2025 Expedition. From what we can see, the cockpit will receive a complete remake, featuring a huge pillar-to-pillar screen. Additionally, another screen will be positioned in the center stack, nestled between the HVAC vents, much like you'd find in the 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. The Nautilus is the first to roll out with Ford's newest Android-based infotainment system, dubbed Digital Experience. That is a very dull name if you ask us. Anyways, in the Lincoln, the infotainment system is rendered across a gorgeous 48-inch screen spanning almost the full width of the dashboard. Although the 2025 Ford Explorer will use the Digital Experience system without the panoramic screen, it appears the Expedition will adopt the same setup as the Nautilus. And that is good news. Who doesn't love a pillar-to-pillar display these days? However, in the Nautilus, the full-width display is not touch responsive. It's only the smaller display in the center that serves as a touchscreen control center for the bigger panel above. From what we could see, the Expedition should feature the same no-touch full-width display in combination with a smaller touchscreen in the center. Even so, the whole dashboard looks very futuristic and high-end, and we think it would become a big selling point for the 2025 Expedition. The air vents look like they've received a redesign as well, although the physical buttons that used to control the climate control have been moved to the central screen. Or maybe these changes will only apply to the models that will be equipped with the big screen. Overall, the interior of the 2025 Expedition looks a lot like what we've seen in the newly refreshed Explorer. The new Expedition will probably remain a 3-row SUV from 2025 onwards. You'd still be able to fit up to 8 people in either standard or extended length body styles, mid-cycle revamp, or a whole new generation. At the moment, it's not clear when the 2025 Ford Expedition makes its official debut, or whether it will be a brand new generation or just a mid-cycle update. But let's take a closer look at how important the Expedition is for Ford's SUV lineup and what other rumors are circulating on the market. Ford introduced the 3-row Expedition back in 1997. It was the first full-size Ford SUV with a 4-door body. It basically took over from the Ford Bronco, which was also derived from the F-150 generation in production at that time. Over its 4 generations, the Ford Expedition followed a similar strategy as its competitors, Chevy Tahoe and the Suburban, by being sold in both standard and extended length versions. And if you've ever thought the Lincoln Navigator looked somewhat familiar, there's a good reason for it. Since 1997, Ford's luxury arm, Lincoln, has been offering the Ford Expedition by another name, the Lincoln Navigator, marking its entry as the first full-size luxury SUV in North America. The current 4th generation was launched back in 2018 and went through a couple of facelifts in 2019, 2020, and 2022. It's currently being built at the Kentucky Truck Plant in Louisville, Kentucky. And since the F-150 has already received a revamp for 24, people think the Expedition is next. Some folks even created their own version of how the new 2025 Expedition should look. Their wild theories are not only about external design, but also about what might be under the hood. Yes, electrified is the magic word, but what it really comes down to is what's happening in the market and the big game plan Ford has for its lineup. If Ford wants to stay on top in terms of cool new tech and being kind to the planet, rolling out a hybrid Expedition could be a smart play.